Hey, welcome to step 3 of the 10-step roadmap to financial freedom. Okay, this is where I'm going to be showing you how to underwrite properties. We've gone through determining your why. We've gone through, putting together your buy box. Now I'm going to show you how I personally go and underwrite properties. I'll explain it, and I'll just take you through an example in College Station, Texas, of exactly what I would do. And exactly what I did when I found my College Station house, so that I knew I was going to make about $40,000 to $50,000 in net profit. So I'm going to pull up my screen here, and then I will take you through it. Let's pull it on up. 1 second. Okay, we've got this up now. So now what I'm using is the strIQ app to be able to do it. This is going to be probably a part 1 of a part 2 series, because you've got the app that will help you really put in your buy box and do the underwriting. But then there's a part 2 of it where you really want to look at the comp data and feel very confident about the revenue. So let's do part 1 now, and then I'll do part 2 here in a minute. So we're looking at the screen here. Again, it's kind of like a Zillow experience. And it's hard to know which properties are actually going to make money or not if you're on Zillow or Redfin or something like that. But this is a technology I actually created with my team at strIQ to help investors like us make way faster decisions. So what you do is you go up here to the filter once you have the app, and you put in your criteria. So in your determining your why and looking at your buy box, now you can shift that over and actually put it into a filtering function and let the data just tell you where to go. So I'm going to say, okay, I want anything over 20% cash on cash return. Call it anything over 100,000 in revenue. You could even put in a maximum purchase price of nothing over, 800,000. I want more bedrooms, so call it, I want anything that has like 4 bedrooms or more, and apply those filters. And then what you do from there is you can click on this cash on cash return button, which will then, once you do that, it'll take all these bubbles, it'll color coordinate them for you. And now it just takes away anything that does not meet that criteria. So let me do this one more time, actually, so you can see what the colors would look like if we would have clicked on that sooner. So I'm going to reset it. And what you're going to see when this resets is a lot of red, yellow, and green dots. And so that basically shows you anything that's red is negative cash flowing. Anything that's yellow is medium cash flowing, from like 5 to 20% cash on cash return. And anything that's green is above 20% cash on cash return. So this is one way you can do it, is basically just don't put in any filters and just kind of toggle between list price and cash on cash and go shopping around based on the colors of the dots, to give you some interesting insights to some of these properties. But what I like to do is I like to take it a step further and put in those filters. Like I said earlier, I'm just going to do these for now: 20% cash on cash and 100,000 in revenue. And I'm going to click apply. And then what's going to happen is all those that don't meet that criteria will go away, and it's only going to show me the few properties that actually meet that criteria. So let's zoom in here, and I want to be closer to the stadium because I know there's going to be higher demand there. And let's just see what some of these look like here. So the closer you get in, now you'll actually get to see the specific number for cash on cash that you can expect. So the property I bought was like right here, pretty close to the field. Mine was showing over a 30% cash on cash return. I think it was showing like 50 to 100% cash on cash return, but it wasn't factoring in capital expenses. And now it's closer to like probably 30 to 40% cash on cash once you add that in. So that's where I'll show you how you can find this quick, but then you also need to factor in your CapEx to make it worthwhile and to make sure that you're protected. So here's a property that's interesting. It's 41% cash on cash, close to the field, really close to miles. So I think this is a good comp to kind of explain this to you. So I'm going to click on it. Okay, I can see the card. I'm going to pull it up, and it's going to pull up the property here. $525,000 purchase price. I can flip through the property. It looks very similar to the one I bought in College Station. It's got, it's a college house, so don't expect anything awesome. But that's the beauty of it is someone else is looking at it like, it's a college house, but I'm looking at it as, oh, I can take that, invest 50 to 100 grand into it, make it awesome, and outperform everyone in the market. So anyway, that's the opportunity. Is not everyone's looking at this the way I am and the way you are, where you could take advantage of this opportunity and actually go perform really well. So 525,000 purchase price, showing 125,000 in revenue. That's actually very close to what I'm expecting with my property in College Station. So now, okay, let's get into the underwriting. We're going to go click on Analyze. And this is where we've got 4 things here. We've got the property information, revenue information, expenses, and financing. And so all of this is already pre-populated for you. So you can go through it quick, or you can go in and manipulate the data. So like me, I know, okay, from a strategy perspective, I might want to negotiate on this home and bring it down to like 515,000. So you can make that adjustment there and it's going to automatically update your analysis. And now I'm going to go to revenue. Okay, so this is cool. We've got a few options for you on revenue. We partner with AirDNA to get information, but we also at strIQ, the technology company, also run comps analysis to determine revenue figures. And we give you both so that you can make better informed decisions. So we've got this P50, P75, P90 on the strIQ side. What that means is P50 is like the average revenue. So, we want to be better than average. So what can you get or expect if you're above or better than average? That's your P75, which is the 75th percentile of the market, or the P90. And so the P50 is showing like 119,000, P75 125,000, P90 at 127. So not a huge spread. Sometimes it's a really big spread, but long story short, it's showing that 125,000 is pretty realistic for a property like this in College Station if you deck it out and make it awesome. There's also this Get AirDNA button. If you do want to fact check it and click on it, it'll show you what the AirDNA projection of it looks like to compare to the strIQ numbers. And AirDNA will only give you the 50th percentile number that they project. They won't give you the range of numbers. So just be aware of that. Now we'll go to expenses. This is where you'll need to factor in capital expenses. Sometimes you can buy properties that are turnkey, ready to go, but you'll usually only be at the 50th percentile of the revenue of that market because you're just not really putting in the time or the effort. So what I recommend is at least put in a little bit of cash if you can, so that you can try to hit these upper revenue numbers. So what I did is I put in about 50,000 in furniture, and I did about 50,000 in renovation cost for my property there to deck it out, put putting green in, hot tub, murals, nice furniture, all sorts of stuff, renovations, new flooring. So I really wanted to make it awesome, fire pit. So that's where you can add that. Now we've got reoccurring expenses. This is where it's already, it's awesome. It's pre-populated for you, but you can go make adjustments. So management fee, you've got to decide, do you want a property manager to manage it or do you want to manage it? Now, I manage my own property, so I don't have a fee there, but you can add in a 20% fee or whatever fee you think a property manager would charge. It's usually somewhere between 15% of the revenue up to like 25% of the revenue is kind of standard for property management fees to add in. The OTA platform fee, that is fees associated with like Airbnb or VRBO, which is about 3% of the revenue. And so we even show you this icon that shows you how we even calculate that. That's factored in. We've got cleaning fees already factored in, which we're estimating about $14,000-ish for this property. So let's show you how we calculate that. It's $60 per bedroom with an average turn of 4 cleanings a month. Sometimes it'll be more, sometimes less, but this will give you kind of a general rule of thumb to expect of what the cleaning fees will look like, not only for this property, but any property across the US. It may not be 100% perfect, but it'll get you really, really close. Utilities, we're showing about $2.50 a square foot. Again, not perfect, but it'll be really, really close, and you can go adjust it if you know the exact number in that market. Insurance, showing about 2,500 bucks. I think it's actually closer to like 3,000 for this property. Property taxes is about 8,600. I think it's like actually 9,000. So, again, close, but I can go and add the actuals. No HOA dues. By the way, any property you look at on the strIQ app or strIQ app will not ever have HOAs included. So if you see a condo or you see something you like, you always need to make sure you add in HOAs so you don't miss that. Then we've got maintenance, landscape, handyman. This is just kind of a default number we put in is 1% of the list price, which we feel like is kind of standard across the board. So showing about $5,000 per year for this property. And then you can always add a new expense if you want to here to add something new. Now, financing, this is where you can kind of get creative with ideas. So what I like to do, at least up to this point, has been like second home loans, because you can have multiple second homes across the country. And so there you can do like 10% down and typically get a better interest rate. So maybe you do 10% down, you can do like 7% interest on something like that. If you're doing a DSCR loan, it might be like 20% at a higher interest rate. There's a bunch of stuff we can talk about on the interest rate stuff and loan options. But this is kind of a second home loan situation that you can still Airbnb and get tax advantages on. Closing costs were estimated like 2.5%, which is kind of standard. So now when you get down to this information, this is just FYI information where, okay, I know my principal, interest, taxes, and insurance will be about $4,000 a month. And that's almost spot on to what I'm currently paying with my current property. Now I'm going to go view the summary. Okay, the total cash required for this property with the down payment, closing costs, and furniture expenses is all in like 163,000 bucks. So upfront plus the additional capex to make this project run and profitable. Now let's go to the report. Boom, it shows low, medium, high. This is a 28% cash on cash return, projecting about $46,000 per year in net income. So that means we're receiving enough revenue to pay for all the expenses and financing, and we're getting an additional $46,000 in income on top of that. Pretty sweet. And so the payback on that is we put in that, what was that, 160 grand, and we're going to be able to get all of that back in about 3.5 years. And then it's an infinite return because you've got all your money back. And then here's all the details of this property. So you can look through the pictures. You got the full details here. It shows the revenue, average daily rate, and occupancy percentage. Your NOI, which is your net operating income, which basically means your revenue minus your expenses gives you your NOI before financing. But then when you add in the financing factor, that's where your NOI goes down to from 83,000 down to 46,000, because you've got to factor in your monthly mortgage and interest that you're going to be handling. And then you've got your full details that you can look at just for your own information and confidence. And then you get down to the very bottom, and this is what I like to see is, okay, what at the bottom line, what is my monthly cash flow? And here it says 3,900 bucks a month. So now looking back at your why and your buy box, most people I coach, they say, Matt, I want 10 to 20 grand in net cash flow per month. And so we factor in, okay, well, to get there, 10 to 20 grand net cash flow, it's going to take probably 3 to 6 properties to hit, 10 to 15 grand, maybe, 6, 7 properties total to get up to like that 20 grand situation. So if your goal is like $10,000 a month in net cash flow, and you find this property here that's making 3,900 bucks a month, that's basically 2 to 3 properties like this that will help you hit your net cash flow number. And the beauty about it is now you've got this property that's going to be appreciating over time. You've got someone else paying down your debt. You're getting 3,900 bucks in net cash flow, and you get probably like $60,000. Well, let's see here, probably $60,000 in tax write-offs to reduce your taxable income. So there's a ton of wins on this particular property, plus all the expenses you put into the property to reduce it even further. That's why I love Airbnb. It's just awesome. So anyway, that's how you use this app to really underwrite it and figure out all your details. The last thing I'll show you on this is you've got this button up here where you can send it to any of your friends, family, capital partners, so that as you're underwriting these properties and looking at them, you can send the details to me. You can send them to other capital partners. You can send them to yourself over email to keep them. You can save them, and that way, if you don't have the capital, you can send it to someone else that might have the capital, or go find other partners willing to do it, or just run it on your own. So, at the end of the day, after you spend this money, it's going to be worth it for you. So anyway, that's how you use it. I think I'm going to stop the video here just because it's getting a little bit long, and I might do a part 2 here in a second. But that's how you use the strIQ app to really underwrite a property. And I will do another video to give you some more details.